Hey, this is Jaime Wyatt, and you're listening to Walking the Floor with Chris Shiflett.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas. This is Chris Shiflett, and you are listening to another fine edition of Walking the Floor. Coming to you live from Hollywood, California today. That's right. It's Friday afternoon. I'm sitting in a rehearsal studio, and you know what? In the room next door, I swear to God, is Depeche Mode. And across the hall is Kiss. Ba-bam! Dreams do come true, America. Come on. It's fucking weird, right? And here I am sitting in a room by myself, recording this little thing on my phone because I don't have all my gear with me. But who cares about that? I got a fine show for you today. I got Jaime Wyatt here today to talk to us about her great record, Felony Blues, and all sorts of other stuff. What is going on? This is the end of the first week of my record, West Coast Town, being out there available for you. I hope you checked it out. I hope you dig it. And we played an in-store last weekend at Side One Dummy. Got an in-store tomorrow. By the time you hear this, I will have already played an in-store down in Long Beach at Fingerprints for Record Store Day. Even though we don't have any vinyl. But, you know, hey, no big whoop. We're going to do it anyway. That's about all that's going on in the short term. We got Bottle Rock coming up at the end of May, and then I might have a big announcement, maybe by next week. I'll have an announcement for a couple more shows in a foreign country, but I can't say any more, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. I can't say it yet, but I'm pretty sure. Might do a couple little acoustic solo shows elsewhere, so stay tuned for that. Okay, in the meantime, let's talk about Zounds.com. You know Zounds.com makes gear affordable. You know you can use your existing credit card and that they never charge interest, and they make it easier than ever to afford the gear you want. You know these things. You know that Zounds is run by real musicians. So get on over there. They provide fast 2-day shipping for free on almost 90% of all products. So, you know, check it out, Zounds.com. Let's get to the interview. Okay, last week I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to singer-songwriter Jaime Wyatt, core member of the Los Angeles Americana scene, man. We talked about that. She's got a great record out. Just came out a couple months ago called Felony Blues. Very interesting lady and wonderful songwriter. And, you know, one of the most interesting things I think about Jaime Wyatt. I mean, there's things that we talked about in this, you know. You probably know, you know, she did a little stretch in jail a few years back. That's like kind of a press point around the release of this record. But one of the things that I find most interesting about Jaime Wyatt is that her great-grandparents were country musicians in Bakersfield. So Jaime Wyatt's got a direct bloodline connection to the Bakersfield Sound, which I think is amazing. As a matter of fact, we kind of started our conversation right there. This is Jaime Wyatt on Walking the Floor. I always encourage it, but I don't, you know. Sometimes people are like, fuck off, it's not in the morning. I'm not doing that.
You're right. Well, and I'm not a morning person, so I will...
I have become a morning person in my old age. I was very much.
Do you have children?
I do have children.
That's
I have lots
why.
of children.
How many?
I have 3 boys.
All boys?
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah. Did you just you have kids too?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you just said so do I.
No, I have dogs.
Oh well, there you. That's your starting point. For us, we got 2 cats because we're like we gotta like have some kind of like, you know, attempt at taking care of somebody that isn't us, you know.
Right.
And then that sort of led into
Yeah, it started with
life now. Yeah,
it started with succulents. It started with
there you go.
Plants.
There you go.
And then you were allowed to take care of those.
Yeah, and if
then
those didn't die,
then animals.
Yeah,
then humans.
there you go. There, you're on your way. So first, I kind of want to start. I read something. I was just like doing a little research on you, and
really?
I read that
God,
that
no.
you had like your great grandparents played country music in Bakersfield. Is that true?
Damn straight.
So you have like a direct connection to the Bakersfield Sound.
Yes, and
Wow.
I recently
Do
discovered
tell.
it. Well, I mean, it started out. My mother used to always sing country, and always talked with like a drawl. And I grew up in Washington.
Washington State.
Yeah, Washington
Okay.
State. Yeah, so everybody's like, I have the weirdest accent there is. It's like, because my Nana and my Papa lived very close to us, and they're from Texas and Oklahoma. So then my mom, upon some research, like she always said, oh, your grandparents, they played music, and Uncle Don was a champion fiddle player. But
Wait, whoa. You're not talking about Don Rich, are you?
No. I'm not from that pedigree.
Because there's a lot of connections there. Because Don Rich was from Washington State, was
Really?
a fiddle player.
You're kidding
When
me.
Buck Owens discovered him, and then so the story goes, Buck taught him how to play guitar and brought him down to Bakersfield.
Well, there is.
I think you ought to work that into your bio.
You're right.
Yeah, you should start claiming.
Who knows? It's like there ain't no fact checks anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So when in what years would your great grandparents have been active?
So they came over in the Dust Bowl.
Okay.
And settled in San Fernando Valley and Bakersfield.
Right.
And so I'm guessing, I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 40s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. My great grandfather, they were farmers, and he had a feed store in North Hollywood, right off Lankershim.
Really?
Yeah, and it was the last feed
so they might have
store.
been like hanging out at the Palomino or something back in
They
in
hung
the day.
out with Roy Rogers.
Really?
Yeah, because it was the
Whoa.
last feed store that you could ride your horse up to.
Right. Okay.
And they'd ride down.
It's
the
funny. That's an
aqueduct.
element of like Los Angeles life that is pushed further to the margins, but really
Right.
was like a pretty central part of life here way back when.
Yes.
It was like a equestrian town.
Yes, it was, and it was all orange groves, and
Yeah, sure.
and it was all farming, and there was so much country music here.
Yeah.
we forget about it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even at Washington State, I mean, that's in that, like, she wasn't from there, but I think in that where Loretta Lynn got her start. And, like I said, Don Rich was from there. I mean, it's funny that, like, the West Coast, it's got that. We think of the Bakersfield Sound as, like, the central point of it all. But, like,
Sure.
but there was, in every little town, had its scene and had its barn dances and its honky-tonks and all that
right.
stuff.
Well, and I get so much shit for, walking around with a cowboy hat on in Los Angeles and all these Teamster bars. They're like,
Right.
like every guy wants to wear my hat. That's a good pickup line.
That is a good hat. That is a good hat.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But they forget. I'm like, they go, where are you from? Are you from Texas? And I'm like, no, I'm from America. Like, is that okay?
Yeah, right. Well, people forget, man, this was the Wild West out here, man.
Sure was.
This is where cowboy hats,
Sure
people weren't wearing cowboy hats in the, Savannah, Georgia or whatever. They were wearing them out west.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anywhere where the sun was intense.
Right.
You had, and I grew up with horses, and I'm a terrible rider, but my middle sister was, like, she should have been Olympic level. She was like a barrel racer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like in the rodeo?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we grew up doing that,
That sounds
taking
dangerous.
care of horses. Yeah, it actually, horseback riding is one of the most dangerous sports.
Yeah, sure.
Next to hockey, they say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Right.
supposed to be like on the top.
Yeah, don't they say it's not like if you're going to get thrown from your horse, it's when?
It is, and I got thrown off a horse when I was like, I was about 8 or 9. My horse was
Were you like, that's
Palomino.
the end of my horse riding career.
And actually, yeah, I was like, fuck this, I want to ride skateboards.
Right, which is also dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but for whatever reason, I felt more comfortable on a skateboard than I did on a horse.
It's something about being on a big old animal like that. It's a little nerve wracking if you don't do it a lot.
Right. Well,
I had to jump off a horse one time in a photo shoot that started to like gallop
he's
away.
spooked.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But yeah, they take off if you don't own you don't own it, like,
Right.
yeah, if you're not the alpha, they know right
I
away.
was definitely not the alpha.
Well, because
sure.
yeah, I know, it's like, you know, it's like, I love animals. I'm like, oh no, you know, I'm too soft.
Yeah. So, okay, so you grew up in Washington. Why, with the kind of music that you do, why did you choose to come down to LA and settle down here and be a part of this scene instead of like some of the areas like, you know, whatever, East Nashville or Austin, places that are a little
right.
more associated, you know, in
With
people's minds
country,
with,
of course. I mean, I probably should have done that, but I got my first deal when I was in high school, and
Really?
it was down here, yeah. So, I mean, I had to move. Oh, I wasn't allowed to move to LA yet, so I had to do. I moved to San Francisco with my oldest sister, and because my mom was all right with that,
Right.
and then I just commuted down to Los Angeles like every other weekend.
Right.
And the label down here was, I just saw Sam Outlaw's record over there.
Yeah, my vinyl collection is growing over there.
Well, anyways, sorry, I'm so ADD. So anyways, I moved down here just because I got a record deal. And I was always trying to, like, make country records. And they always wanted me to be Sheryl Crow.
Ah, right.
So I come in with like country songs, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna straighten this out."
Now, did you make any records, or is your latest one is that your first record? Because I know that there was a
No.
period where you had gotten a record deal or whatever when you were younger. But did you wind up releasing anything back then?
Yes, I did. I mean, on
Because I couldn't find that on Spotify. That's why I asked.
well, yeah, it's true. I mean, actually, I don't think the record's even on iTunes,
Oh, okay.
just because the label's probably struggling or something.
Right.
And maybe there's bad blood. I hope not.
Right.
I mean, I love those folks. Like,
Right.
they help me out so much.
But so was there tension, like you wanted to do one thing and they wanted you to be something else?
I'm sure that maybe that was part of it,
Right.
but it actually was the climate of the business at that time.
Right.
Like, LimeWire came out right around there, and everyone was pirating the music. And it was it was like around 2008, and like when music, well, the business changed course
Sure.
like so drastically, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to like change with the market.
Right. Took them a while.
Yeah.
To adapt.
So I just got in a holding pattern.
Right.
And I felt bad for them. They were like, I don't know what to do with y'all. Like, record's great, but we're struggling, and they were a movie company. So then they were like, we have to concentrate on that to make,
Right,
make
sure.
bills.
Yeah,
and keep the lights on.
Well, let's back up a little bit before that. I mean, okay, so you said your mom was always singing, and you had your great-grandparents were musicians.
Right.
But what was it for you when you were a kid that got you into music?
Well,
Was it a family thing, or was
yeah.
it? It was.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
both parents.
Okay.
In fact,
because your dad was a musician, right?
Yeah. He was a singer-songwriter, and really, my parents are both just like songwriters. Like, nobody had like mad chops or anything,
Right.
but they know how to sing, like, and have their own tone
Yeah,
and
sure.
and lyrics. Just like I grew up talking about lyrics and poetry.
Right. Really?
Yeah, just mainly
So that
my
was a
mom.
focus from an early age for you?
Yeah, my dad, like, growing up with us kids, he was always making rhymes, and it was a fun thing.
Right.
Like, we'd ride down the road, and he'd be like, spout off something funny.
Right.
That was basically like write a song on the spot.
Like, how old were you when you first started playing and trying to write songs yourself?
I actually, I started writing when I was like 4 or 5.
Really?
Just because that was,
Because you're just playing the family game.
Yeah, it was a
making up
game,
rhymes,
and
right,
it was
yeah.
very fun, actually. So, my first song I ever wrote, and I can't believe I even remember this, but it's because a boy in school was being mean to me. Mm-hmm. and he was throwing rocks at me. So my first song was "Don't Throw Rocks at Me."
That's a good tune.
So cheesy.
You could rework that now a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just because. No, it was great. Actually, it was a really fun. It was always like a challenge. They'd be like, write about this, or can you, they'd start singing something, and then you had to get in. I mean, I didn't sing so much. I really was pretty shy.
Right.
But like my middle sister was a amazing singer. And,
really?
Yeah, and everyone
so you guys
was really
would all play
outgoing.
music together, like the family?
We
Because I grew up with,
together.
all my brothers played guitar too, but we never
yeah.
sat around like to the campfire singing songs together. It just never happened in my family. And I look back on that and I go, why the fuck didn't we?
Yeah, right.
I feel like I missed something. I love when I hear that, that people, people's experience that did have that,
Yeah, no, my dad was always trying to make us sing. Like there's this.
I try to puch that on my kids. They won't do it with me. They totally won't. I'm waiting for them to come
"You're
around.
not cool,
You're
Dad."
gonna regret this. Yeah, it's funny. It's no matter what your job is, you're not cool to your kids. Yeah, that's an absolute. So when did you actually start playing out and gigging and playing in bands and stuff?
Yeah, I started gigging when I started doing coffee house gigs when I was 12.
Okay.
And then that, escalated to playing bars when I was 14, 15 in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, okay. So that's where that's where you grew up, was in Tacoma? That's the part of Washington you were in?
Well, that was the nearest, big town.
Right.
Not city. I won't even call it Tacoma City. But I grew up on a little island, and then, you commute to town.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the bars were at,
Sure.
and where society was at.
Right.
The island is pretty quiet.
And so wow. So if you're gigging at 14, 15, and you got a record deal by 17, that's like, that's pretty fast.
It was fast for me, yeah. And my family kind of had a tumultuous, relationship with my folks, and my mother's mother passed away, and so I'd started writing songs really for real when I was 14, because I don't know, I just felt very moved, and it was from my mother, because she fell into deep depression. Yeah, so I started writing for my mom.
Interesting. I mean, 'cause writing is it's kind of therapy in its way.
Exactly. Well, and I felt like when you write, you actually have power over life.
Right.
It made pain worth it. Yeah.
So okay, so you got your record deal and you moved down to San Francisco. When did you actually come down here?
I came to Los Angeles when I was 20. I don't know what year that was. To be honest, I really suck at math.
Right.
But yeah, so I came when I was 20. And I actually came down, I was like, hey, this deal, got this record, I, kind of want to get out of it. And the label was so cool, and they were so helpful. They were like, yeah, you go do you. So they helped me out, and then I got another deal with a band I was working with. I got into a harmony group, brother and sister duo, and beautiful. Those guys know fucking harmonies in and out.
Really?
Yeah.
Anybody I would know, anybody that's still playing around?
I don't know if they play out. It was just a band that we made up. It's called American Bloomers.
Okay.
At the time, it was a trendy name.
It seems like right now, maybe it's just because I've been kind of immersed in it. I interviewed Sam Outlaw recently. I'm interviewing you. I was just on tour with my friend Brian Whelan, who I know that you know. But it seems like the LA sort of Americana world is getting more attention now. But what was it like when you first moved here? Was it as much of a thing?
Nobody cared. Well, I think it was just a smaller audience.
Right. Because that would have been well after the sort of like, the heyday of like the 80s scene when it was really hopping here.
Yeah.
And then there was even like kind of a 90s moment where things were kind of happening. But like when did the whole like Grand Old Echo and that whole sort of East Side thing sort of kick up?
That's funny. That
I feel like we meet at a show once at the Echo a while ago. Did we not play together?
Yeah, that rock and roll tribute.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So when did that all really start to kick up?
Well, that started and everything is Ben Riddell in this town for country. He's from Texas and that guy knows country through and through and he believed in it. And so there was this thing called Rancho Los Angeles, and it was over at the Lava Lounge.
Okay.
And Lucinda used to come over and sing, and we did a couple gigs with Brian Bingham.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like getting, he was taking off.
Yeah, sure.
Mark Ford was helping him out. It was really beautiful. But yeah, it was such a small scene. Like no one really cared.
Well, it's definitely like
fun.
it's an insular scene. I mean, I noticed because I was watching some live footage of you on YouTube.
Oh, no.
No, it was great. It was great.
No,
No, it's good. But I noticed a couple of the guys playing with you are guys that I recognize from playing with Brian Whelan recently.
Oh,
I was
really?
just on tour with Brian.
Brian Whelan is amazing.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got that.
But
voice
it seems like there's
too.
a lot of the. He's got that voice, yeah, for sure.
God.
But it seems like a lot of the folks within the sort of like L.A. West Coast Americana world, everybody knows each other. Everybody's playing with each other. That's sort of my impression of it.
It's coming
I'm
together.
a little removed from it. You know what I mean? Like I'm friends with a lot of
You
those
got your own
folks, but I don't
thing,
live
shoot.
over there. I'm too old. I got kids. Like I'm not going out every night. You know what I mean? But that's my impression of it. I'm wondering what the reality of it is. I guess for you.
Well, I mean, I'm blessed to like really be a part of that scene now
Right.
with the Grand Ole Echo and that. So that developed, right after doing all that Rancho Los Angeles stuff. Ben and I can't remember if this gal, and I can't remember her name. Gosh, I mean I'm fired. But Ben started the Grand Ole Echo with this gal, of which I can't remember her name. Like a total lame-o. I'd love to give credit where it's due, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, they started that every Sunday
Right.
at the Echo.
Yeah.
And I love that they called it the Grand Ole Echo. My friends used to be like, hey, you should go play. They're doing country every Sunday at the Echo. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. A couple of years later, then came friends with Ben Riddell, and he was like, he actually really helped me. And he's still like my, a champion for me.
He's a sweetheart. I like that guy. Yeah.
He's my favorite musician in this town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
I mean, besides all the famous folks, but
Big props to Ben.
Ben Riddell, love you.
So of course there's, like I said, I was reading up on you, and there's that period post record deal where you got into some trouble with the law and spent a little time incarcerated. And I'm curious, what that experience was like for you. And, in sort of in the context of in society now, we have like, this sort of obsession with prison and prison life and reality shows. We do. Yeah.
Oh,
focused
well,
on it.
Lockup,
And there's exactly all that sort of stuff. And people, it's like prison,
all the docs and all the
right, yeah. So there's all that stuff about
it.
And my idea of going, I've never spent any time incarcerated. Like my idea would be I'd be in there fighting for my life every single day.
Oh, men have it so much harder.
Okay, so I'm curious what the experience was for you. What did you spend your time in there doing? Were you writing songs? Were you working on your craft, keeping your head down, staying out of trouble?
Yes, actually, all the above.
Oh, okay.
And you're pretty right on the money. Yeah, you got to kind of, you have to keep your head down because I didn't go to prison. I was in jail for 8 months fighting a case of which they would have loved to send me to prison.
Okay. And what were the sort of the details around the case?
Detail
I know
the
it was
crime.
something involving like
Yeah,
robbing
okay.
a drug dealer or something like that, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting because I would think that a drug dealer would be somebody good to rob because maybe they wouldn't report it because they're
That's
doing
what I
something illegal,
thought.
you know?
Yeah, but it was. I mean, gosh, it was like. No judgment on this person at all. Like, I got into drugs, I got into pills and all that.
Right.
And it escalates,
Sure.
But she was like kind of well-to-do, and then she had her stepdad was like an attorney or something. So she was just mad. I understood, and held her up. No weapons or anything, but
Right.
I had a gang member with me, so like that's why they went, came down so hard on me in court, because
Like a premeditated thing.
well, in Santa Monica, they kind of made it their mission to get rid of gangs, right? Santa Monica and Venice,
Right. Sure.
and so I just wrong place. Well, no, not wrong place, wrong time. I chose to do what I did.
Sure.
But yeah, as far as the level of prosecution, it was probably maybe over the top because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were in jail while your case was working its way through court, is
Correct.
that right? Okay.
Yes.
And how did you wind up not going to prison then out of that?
I was blessed. My stepmother helped, and she, said that I needed an attorney, so she helped, and my mom split. God, my mom probably borrowed money from my grandma to pay,
Yeah.
For the attorney, and that's how I was literally saved from prison. They didn't want to come down off 6 years for like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, were you in going through the sort of the justice system the way that you have? Were they trying to plea deal you down?
Yeah.
Was that because isn't that like the whole
It's
game? It's all about getting the conviction. And,
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Like if you go to court, we're going to push for the maximum, or
Exactly.
sign this right now, and we'll
Yes.
and you can do whatever. 6
How do you
years.
know about this?
Well, my mom was a
You-
probation officer, so
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, mom was a probation officer, like my whole.
I
childhood.
think probation officers are badasses.
Well,
I think a lot of people that work in there, are
My mom,
total badasses.
Yeah, my mom, was a probation officer through the years that 3 strikes laws and things like that came in.
Yeah,
that
I
were
got
very
a strike.
frustrating for her because she could see the absurdity of the way our justice system works. My mom wasn't like she wasn't like some gung ho law enforcement person. She just kind of fell into that job, so she wasn't an idiot. She could see that it was totally counterproductive to to actually like rational punishment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure because you're lovely and your mother's probably lovely as well.
Oh, she's good. Yeah, she's retired now. She doesn't do that anymore.
Well, yeah. I digress.
Well, anyway, so and we don't have to talk too much about that.
No,
but like,
I fought the case and I did not have to go to prison. Thank God.
did you come out of there with like a back pocket full of tunes though? Like, I'm ready to go get a new record deal. Let's go.
Oh no, I came out of there depressed as shit.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I came out. Well, I mean, I had to go. My sentence was, not only time served. Thank God. So I took the plea,
Right.
like you're talking about,
Right.
because they did tell me they're like, if you go to trial, you will lose,
Right.
and probably, that was the reality.
Right. Sure.
So I took the plea, and so it was, what was it? It was so 8 months total. They said time served, and then I got 3 years probation, and also 6 months residential treatment. I ended up, like 9 months.
Right.
Or
And when was this all happening? What's the timeline here? Like, does that screw you up for screw you up for touring now? Or are
I
you
can't go to
past it all?
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are you through with like probation and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
so,
Okay, so
yeah.
you don't have to like check in with somebody before you go on the road or anything
not
like that.
anymore.
Okay.
It was a 3-year felony probation,
Right.
and that was like no cakewalk, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm not on probation anymore. I'm like, obviously, I don't get in trouble, man. I was like, after that, I was scared to death,
Sure.
so I just didn't do
Well, that's
anything.
but that's a real thing. You know, once people are in the system, it's oftentimes they stay in the system.
Well,
I'm
and
curious how
that's why I even talk about this.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't. It's like, because I wouldn't want to shame my family's name.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and it really does have a stigma attached to it.
Sure.
I'm like, gosh, yeah, did drugs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, kid, 20 years old.
Right,
That's a
right.
kid.
That's a kid. That's a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so the reason that I even talk about it is it's because I really believe, and I hope, I can do nothing, but I hope that we can change that system, because I think it's very inefficient.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like,
Counterproductive.
yeah, absolutely. There's not much rehabilitating
Right.
in that.
It seems like people are coming around to getting that.
I pray.
Yeah. So, okay. So then how did you wind up getting you have a record deal with 40 Below, right? That's your label now?
Yeah, I do.
How did that all come about? And tell me about making your new record.
You know what? So I did this tour, and now it's become like a regular thing. I go on tour with Sam Morrow, and he's a young cat. He's a great singer, and I don't know why I took to him. Like, I mostly keep to myself, but Sam, I was like, hey, we could sing together, and we could share a band and go on tour. And we were on tour, and it was, really fun. So he had this record label, 40 Below.
Right.
And so eventually I met, the owner of that
Right.
label, Eric Cohen.
LA-based label, right?
Yeah, LA.
Yeah.
And Eric, he engineered and worked on all those, like, Dwight Yoakam records.
Oh,
and
really?
Mad Dog.
Really?
Yeah, like,
oh, cool.
totally. And for me, like, that was, like, as a fan, I'm just like,
Sure.
Mad Dog Studios
Yeah.
and Dwight Yoakam, that's LA country history.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So-
big time.
Yeah, so immediately he had my attention, and, we hit it off, and I was like, I have this record, like, I kept going, I called it, I was like nickel and diamond.
Yeah.
Like, just like,
Record a little bit here, record a
yeah,
little
go on
bit
tour,
there.
come
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
go record, whatever. And working with this rad cat, this guy, Drew Allsbrook. And he's just a badass bass player.
Okay.
And I took him on tour, and I found him in the back of my van reading circuitry books. And he was like, I went to Berkeley School of Music. And I was like, yeah, everyone did.
Right.
Sure. Everyone's got a studio. And then I heard his shit, and he just knew how to make good tone.
Right.
Like, even with, he's got, like,
Did he
the
produce your
guys
record?
and shit.
Because your record sounds great.
Well, we produced it together.
Yeah, right on.
Well, because I'm awful to work with. No. Drew is amazing because he's very good working with women.
Yeah.
And I'm also very, like, I don't know, I'm very committed to, and I know what the sound should
Sure.
be.
Well, you have a vision for your art. That's not. I think people call that difficult.
Right.
But it's really, is it? You know what I mean? Why shouldn't you have a strong opinion about your work,
Yeah, I got a temper too.
Well, we're all irrational musicians. If we were like well-adjusted people, we wouldn't be fucking doing this for a living, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's like, yeah, why do you even want to write songs or like play
Right.
music? It's like, because there might be
Yeah.
emotional
I
pain.
think you have to be a little nuts to do this,
So nuts.
Yeah.
So nuts. But yeah, so made that record with Drew, and then I was like, I don't really even know what to do with this.
The record's called Felony Blues, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
right. And Eric came along. He's like, I would love to put this record out. And that got like, he doesn't put records out that he's not involved in. And we're, mixing it and And mixing, gosh, that's a whole nother whole nother level that I actually learned so much about. Finally,
Yeah.
all these years make music mixing is so crazy.
Yeah.
So Eric remixed my record, and it just shined. Like it came together finally.
Yeah. And when did it come out?
It came out on February 24th.
Right.
So just a couple months back.
And have you been touring and hitting it hard?
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like you're getting a lot of
the last one we
attention.
did
I feel like yours is one of the names that I see, a lot.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I try to hide out as much as I can.
That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do when you're marketing a record. Come on.
I know, I'm teasing. Well, I'm so like grateful, and I'm blessed that like people want me to play for them, and yeah, so it just kind of came together. Like I got an agent, and I got a great manager, Adam Barnes. I love you.
Nice.
Yeah, and he manages Shooter, and Shooter and Missy have been like so just supportive. Like they'd show up to my shows, and that's like my hero, son. Shooter Jennings, like those records are amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, he is a rebel.
Yeah.
Right in the blood.
I mean, I've actually never met Shooter. I would love to interview him for this show.
He's
that's one of those ones on my list of like, why haven't I gotten this guy yet?
Because he's shy as shit.
I actually saw him at a gig not too long ago, and I was like, I should go introduce myself and ask him if I could interview him. I was like, you know what? He's watching a show. I don't want to bug that guy.
Oh, yeah. And that guy ain't got no ego.
Oh, really? He's a good guy?
He's, like, so pure. His energy and
nice.
the way, they live, they're just nice people. They're just about family.
One of these days. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get you. Shoot.
Right.
Hey, do you want to play a song from your record?
Yeah, sure.
That'd
What do you want me to play?
Whatever you want. I'm going to turn this around.
Cool. And you can edit out blank space.
Are you a loud
singer? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, do you have a capo?
I do.
A capo.
Right here, boom. It's all techno and newfangled even.
Yeah, well, this is the cheat. This is a cheater, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, capo's a cheater.
Oh, yeah, because it pretty much makes everything sound great. That's
yes.
why I love a capo. You put a capo on your guitar, you're like, whoa, these 3 chords sound amazing.
And you're a real guitar player. Like I really like. All I do is play chords.
Yeah, right.
It's like
that's all you gotta do.
Yeah, and just fit it in the right,
Right.
Ideally, there's a melody
in there somewhere. If you wanna.
All right, then I gotta play a jail song for you. That's it.
If I snap a picture of you while you're playing? So I can
not at all. Yeah,
on the future web?
Of course, yeah. I ain't got no makeup on, but.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have to.
Oh no, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Like, shoot, I wear a hat so it covers up my eyes. It'll cover up any non-makeup. Well, I was trying to give my skin a break. I was gonna play this song called "Your Lovin' Saves Me."
All right.
And that's one that, cause I keep looking at Sam Outlaw over there, like
Nice.
this beautiful male model.
I know. Love that shirt.
He's so hot right now. Sam, I love you. No, he's a sweetheart. He's a total sweetheart and a badass. So he sang on this track, and I'll play it best I can in the morning. So, here we go. Here we go around again. closer than we've ever been. Will you lead me through the night? I can almost see the light to see you two-step gliding across the floor, chasing that hi-hat door to door. Maybe a little desert rock and roll to feed my Yankee heart and Southern soul. There ain't no borders, there ain't no boundaries. Good people all around me. Hard as concrete, soft as gravy. Jesus is cool, but your loving saves me. Oh Lord, I hope I don't forget the ones I owe the greatest debt. See you standing there tonight, open arms and burning bright, to see you two-step gliding across the floor, chasing that hi-hat door to door. Maybe a little desert rock and roll to feed my Yankee heart and Southern soul. There ain't no borders, there ain't no boundaries. Good people all around me. Hard as concrete, soft as gravy. Jesus is cool, but your loving saves me. Oh, it saves me. Your loving saves me. Your loving saves me. Sorry, that's the Morning Stone version.
Alright, that was Jaime Wyatt doing a wonderful acoustic version of Your Loving Saves Me off her album Felony Blues. Make sure you get on over to JaimeWyatt.com. Check out what's going on with her. I know she's got some tour dates coming up in May and June. You can also find her on the Twitter at Jaime Wyatt Music. So get out there and support your local scene, people. And when you're doing that, make sure you support my local scene, bitches. It's West Coast Town. It's in stores. It's available. You can stream it. You can buy it on the iTunes. And when you're buying it on the iTunes, you can check out all the old episodes of Walking the Floor, because that's where they live. All right, that's it for this week. I love you. Adios, amigos.